Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're reacting to 50 things that are only possible in Australia. Kangaroos, and I'm getting a phone call. Fan-bloody-tastic, mate. Fan-bloody-tastic, dude. Really? Hello? Hi. What's up? Good. Right. What time? Right now? Why don't you make it about 15 minutes? All right. All right. 15, 20 minutes then. All right. Here we go. Let's get back to it then.
Yeah, I'm talking about the land down under. So, what do you know about Australia?
Nothing.
So, let's start
I'm
with the
just kidding.
name, Australia.
I have a cousin that lives there in, I believe, Brisbane? No, Perth. It's Sydney, Brisbane, or Perth. I think it's Sydney.
Comes from the Latin word australis, which means southern. Way back in the 2nd century,
Huh.
there were legends of a mysterious Terra Australis Incognita, or unknown southern land. Well, now it's very known, so let's get to know more about it. Despite the stereotypes of hot, sunny weather year-round, the Australian
And
Alps,
Crocs.
which are the highest mountain range in the country, get more snow than the Swiss Alps do. Better grab your skis.
I feel like that fact is something that would go over a lot of people's heads. It'd be like snow in Australia. I feel like if you asked like a selection of Americans, Canadians, and you ask them, well, do you think Australia has like a lot of snowy mountains or like even snowy mountains at all? They're probably gonna be like, oh no, it's like desert.
The world's longest national highway is in Australia. It stretches for over 9,000 miles. For comparison, the Earth's diameter is about
So this highway, does it do a big loop-de-loop of the country?
7,900 miles. It's actually a network of highways that connects all capitals of the mainland states. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the Great Wall of China, but what about the Great Fence of Australia? Okay, that's not what it's called, but still, the Dingo Fence in southeast Australia stretches for nearly 3,500 miles. For
The dingo ate my baby.
comparison, it would easily cover the entire span of the U.S., from Los Angeles to Houghton, Maine. Now, it might not be so surprising to know that Australia is huge. It's about the same size as the continental U.S., about 2,500 miles
Dang.
wide. The distance from the west to east coast is further than Barcelona to Moscow. In all, Australia is the world's 6th largest country and the only one that's also a whole continent. But with all that territory, over 80% of Australians live within 60 miles of the coast. This makes the country one of the most coastal-dwelling populations in the world. And that means a whole lot of beaches. In fact, they have so many that if you decided to visit a new beach every day, it would take you almost 30 years to see them all. The biggest property in Australia is about 40,000 square miles in area. South Korea could fit into it with room to spare. The country's termites are busy building huge properties as well. Their mounds are the tallest animal-made structures on this planet. Before humans arrived, the continent was home to megafauna. If you lived there about 46,000 years ago, you'd be dead today. But you would have seen 10
Wait, if you lived there 46,000 years ago, you'd be dead today. What? Because
arrived. The continent was home to megafauna. If you lived
you remember megafauna, like the greenery, or the dinosaur.
there about 46,000 years ago, you'd be dead today. But you would have seen 10-foot tall kangaroos, 23-foot
10-foot tall roos.
long goanna lizards, and ducks the size of an adult horse.
Bro, ducks the size of an adult horse? Is he being serial? Is he being serial? Some giant ass ducks walking around?
Quack, quack. The largest living structure on the planet is the Australian Great Barrier Reef. By the way, it has its own mailbox, and there's a rumor that the fish there use eel mail. Yeah. Neither kangaroos nor emus can walk backward.
Bruh.
That's a fact. And that's why they're painted on the Australian coat of arms. Keep moving forward. The platypus, an egg-laying mammal that lives only in Australia, is one of the rare venomous mammals on this planet. Luckily, while the venom has an excruciatingly painful effect on people, it's not lethal. The takeaway? Don't fuss with a platypus. By the way, when the first platypus was brought to
This guy's jokes.
England, people there were sure that it was a joke. The English believed that Australians had sewn a duck's
Big bills like a platypus.
bill onto a rat's body to play a trick on them. Yeah, right up until he bit them. Not laughing now, are ya? Swimming in the surf during the day had been
Savage.
illegal in Australia up until 1902. But after one guy calmly entered the waves of
sharks?
Manly Beach one afternoon that year, surf bathing became increasingly popular. The largest Greek population outside of Greece itself
I wish he went to the reasoning behind like why it was illegal in 1902, or up until 1902. Like, is it because of sharks, or what?
is in Australia. Actually, to be more precise, in Melbourne. More than 160,000 people who live there say they come from Greek descent. Melbourne was the richest city in the world in 1880. These days, Tokyo, Japan holds this title. And until 2018, Melbourne had been rated as the most livable city in the world for 7 years in a row.
Well, they say that shit about Vancouver too, and Vancouver's a shithole. No, I'm just kidding. Vancouver's very nice, very very nice. But you know, these most livable city designations. Maybe it's the most livable if you're like a millionaire. But if you're making like a salary anywhere probably from 50 to 100,000, just like the housing market is absolute trash. You can't get a house in the Lower Mainland for less than probably less than 2 million, 3 million. There'll be like little shacks that are literally falling apart and they'll be listed for like $5 million.
But then it was bumped down to second place after Vienna, Austria. Come on, Melbourne, get back in the game. One of Melbourne's founders was John Batman. Yep, that was his real name. And get this, the city was temporarily called Batmania. Too bad they decided to change it to Robinville? Nah. In 2018, Australia ranked third after Norway and Switzerland on the Human Development Index. This index is based on education, life expectancy, and citizens' income. Basically, they got a good thing going down under there. In 2005, security guards at the Parliament House in Canberra were prohibited from calling people mate. But the ban only lasted for a day, mate. G'day. If you're ever in Western Australia, you can visit one of their many super salty pink lakes. They get the bubblegum hue from a certain type of algae and bacteria, and they're totally safe to swim in. Just be careful what you chew. Oh, and be sure to take a selfie while you're swimming in what looks like a giant pool of Pepto-Bismol. You can thank Australia for coming up with the word selfie
Why did he say be careful what you chew?
in the first place. There are about 74 million sheep to
Australia invented the selfie. Well, that was a horrible idea.
25 million people in Australia, which makes an impressive ratio of 3 to 1. Only China and India have more than that. Oh, and the kangaroo thing is totally true. There are twice as many kangaroos as there are people there. That's 50 to 25 million. Speaking of which, when a baby
The war of the kangaroos versus the humans will be something that's going to happen. That sounds like, you know how there's like the Planet of the Apes movies? There should be a Planet of the Kangaroos movies. Planet of the Kangaroos. Kangaroos gain sentience and they start bringing it. They start bringing it. Can you imagine? 10 roos putting you in jail, beating you with those big feet.
kangaroo
Damn dirty humans.
is born, it's only half an inch long. It's also hairless and totally pink. Kinda looks like a gummy bear. What else is there in Australia? Oh, that's right, koalas. And to top that, there are 10 times more camels than koalas. Australia is the source of a lot of the Middle East's camels. Now, in Western
That I did not
Australia,
know.
it's against the law to be in possession of more than 110 pounds of potatoes. Well, every country has its obscure, bizarre laws. The architect of the world-famous Sydney Opera House got the idea of this unique construction while munching on an orange. If you combine all the sails of the building's roof, you'll get a perfect sphere. The most ancient fossils in the world were found in Australia. They were no less than 3.4 billion years old, even older than my leftovers in the fridge. There are so many different
3.4 billion years old?
species in this country that only 25% of them have been discovered so far. Of the animals discovered to be native to
I've heard people say, like, in conversation, they don't want to visit Australia because they're scared of, like, that there's so many species of animals that can bite them and stuff. And it's like, man, that's not a real fear to have, I don't think. And I'm sure there is. Like, there's lots of weird insects and stuff. You guys can let me know in the comments, and, like, if there is any animals that you guys are worried about or that are relatively common in terms of, you know, affecting humans and or being a danger to humans. Just let me know what it's actually like, the real deal.
Australia, none have hooves. Burger King miraculously turns into Hungry Jack's as soon as you land in Australia. It's the Aussie franchise of the famous fast food chain. Australia is a unique continent that doesn't house any active
Hungry
volcanoes.
Jacks, eh?
It's also the flattest continent on our planet. But it's got plenty of mountains, and one of them is called Mount Disappointment. It's just 2,600 feet tall, and naturally, explorers William Hovell and Hamilton Hume expected to see a great view from the top. However, after climbing the mountain, they discovered that there were too many trees growing on top and blocking the view completely. Guess how the men felt? Australia has tons of unique flora and fauna species that you won't find anywhere else in the world. Among those are a staggering 1,500 spider species. Spider species, yeah. On the bright side, and we are, while some of them are fatally poisonous.
So I thought, like, when he says flora and fauna, I'm probably just being an idiot, but I always think of trees and plants and greens and stuff like that, not like animals.
Most are completely
I guess I'm totally
harmless.
wrong on that.
But how do
Let's
I
see.
tell them apart?
Definition
the
of
poisonous
fauna.
ones were signs. Got it. It's also where you'll find 21 of the world's top 25 most venomous snakes. More than 90% of Australia is covered with some kind of vegetation. Since 1988,
Animal life.
Australia
Oh,
has
okay.
had a national floral emblem,
I'm
and
an
it's
idiot.
the golden wattle. When this plant blooms, it gets covered with the country's national colors, green and gold. Australia is a multinational country with more than 200 different languages and dialects spoken there. The most popular non-English languages are Mandarin, Greek, Arabic, Vietnamese, and Cantonese. There are 19 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Australia, including 12 natural sites, 3 cultural sites, and 4 mixed sites. The difference between Australia's total length and its width is only 200 miles. Hey, do you have an 8-hour working day? You can thank Australian stonemasons for that. In 1865, they demanded to make 8-hour shifts the standard, and it spread throughout the world from there. With 8 people,
I'm doing a 7-hour shift right now, and it's fantastic. But I've also done 12-hour shifts. I've done 8-hour shifts. But real talk, 12-hour shifts. It's brutality, man. It's brutality. Sure, like if you're getting paid well, like fine, that's all well and dandy. But you literally cannot do anything in that day. 12 hours of your day. Say you work at 6:30 in the morning, or you got to get up at 5:30. You know, prepare for your day. You go to work, commuting time. Okay, you're at work 6:30. You get off of work 6:30. Commuting time. By the time you get home at 7, you're settled in. 7:30, maybe some dinner, and then you got to get ready for bed. Pretty much, you got like maybe an hour or two. No time to go to the gym. No time to socialize. Like, right?
per square mile, Australia
So
has
thanks,
an extremely
Australia.
low population density. For comparison, there are about 93 people per square mile in the U.S. The national Australian airline Qantas uses recycled cooking oil to power its interstate flights. So, have I missed any cool facts about Australia? Let me know down in the comments. If you learned something new today, then give this video a like and share it with a friend. But hey, don't go waltzing Matilda just yet. We have over 2,000 cool videos for you to check out. All you have to do is pick the left or right.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Sorry if I keep doing that. Maybe that's going to be like my beginning of the video catchphrase. I just watched Furiosa the other night, and it was bloody fantastic, mate. Absolutely enthralling. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was bloody fantastic. Yeah. Not as good as Fury Road. Fury Road is like an epic on the scale that we'll never see again. Fury Road. I really love that movie, but yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one, people. Bye-bye.